Hello. Guess I'll wait for some people to come in. Hello, people. That took. Okay. Man, she looks different than I remember. Yeah. Hi, Hector. Good, good evening. Hello. Hello, Tevin. Hector, don't claw my chair. How you doing, Tevin? Yeah, you're fine. Cool. Ow! Watch your claws, Hector. Alright, well, yeah, I'm getting ready to watch the original Spider-Man movie. I have not seen this movie in years. I think Skyward Sword video will launch the 2020-2022 year, because I think I got burnt out with all the projects I had to do and working on my short film, so next year I'm going to focus on finishing up my current project so I can, better focus on what I would on something else, because I take on way too many projects and I think that just burns me out. And what's been going on with Boruto or One Piece lately? Speaking of which, I haven't read the recent One Piece chapters. Anyway, yes, the original Tobey Maguire movie. Yeah, I'm not sure. Were you around when that movie came out? Because that movie was a pretty big deal when it came out. It was probably a cultural phenomenon. It's kind of funny how now on future MCU rewatches, you kind of have to watch the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man now. That's pretty funny, actually. Wait for some more people to show up. Hi, Hector. Yeah, what happened? You were 5. He. So you were probably old enough to see it. I was 14, I think. Yeah, I was 14 when those movies came out. I grew up with the 1994 animated series. That was what got me into Spider-Man. '90s cartoon, yeah. Christopher Daniel Barnes voiced Spidey in that one. He was good but he was a little over the top. Like, yeah, you've probably seen it where he just like screams over Shocker. Like, it's really funny. The idea is that with the symbiote, with the symbiote, yeah, it's like he's really like, he's going crazy, he's unhinged, but yeah, just really over the top. Hmm. Any upcoming games I'm excited for? Well, I suppose I could check. I'm interested to check out that Pokemon game next month. Although pleasing the Pokemon fandom is kind of impossible, it seems. I have no idea when the Pokemon fandom discussion became so toxic, but oh boy, it's scary. Also, I have to get a new laptop to be able to properly record games because my current one can't handle 1080p, 60 frames per second plus Elgato. Like, it just goes way too fast. Like, it's too fast. Well, thank you, Hector, for putting the welcome mat through the door. I skipped that one. I kind of wish I kept collecting them because the prices for those games have increased exponentially. Hello, GTM the gamer. How you doing? This is Hector, just so, in case you don't know. Right, Hector? Hmm? Oh, cool. Boba Fett, I have not watched that yet. Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. I guess it kind of is the Mandalorian season 3, which is, or are they actually making a season 3 of Mandalorian? I'm not sure. Bye, Hector. You were on camera. God of War Ragnarok. Yeah, I'm interested in that. I didn't think they'd do Ragnarok so soon, but yeah, I think, if I remember, I saw Thor, like, he's fat in God of War Ragnarok, which is, like, I think that's actually how he looked in Norse mythology. Pokemon Sword, maybe the last Pokemon game I played. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people do not like what's going on with Pokemon. I really think with Pokemon, they need to give it a rest. Like, just wait. Like, yeah, they need to give Pokemon a break, but they won't because it's probably Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon are their big cash cows. So, yeah, I think Game Freak needs some time off from Pokemon. It's considered season 2.5, and there will be a third season. Okay, what are they going to do? Because the whole point of the Mandalorian was that he was supposed to get Baby Yoda to the Jedi Academy, and he kind of did that at the end of the second season. I guess it's going to be a whole new mission. I wish they didn't show his face at the end of the first season because it was way too soon for that. Back to what I was saying about Pokemon. Like, one thing about Pokemon Sun and Moon, like, they had Lizamune. Like, how do you say her name? Lizamune. Pokemon is the biggest media franchise of all time, making, I think, 100 billion. Yeah, that's why the anime still goes. Like, dear God, I that story is like, I think I'll have grandkids by the time Ash is probably still going to be on his Pokemon journey, and I'll have grandkids. Like, yeah. If I recall correctly, the anime was supposed to be 76 episodes, with the Mewtwo movie being the finale. I mean, what they really should have done with Pokemon is that with each new generation, they should have done a new main character after Ash, like how the games do it. But I guess they can't do that now. It's because they don't want to lose Pikachu. Yeah, I've heard of that. I mean, the games do that. Like, Ash is based on Red from the games, and I think Red does pop up every now and then in some of the games, and it's like, okay, exactly. I don't know. It's kind of funny how Pikachu became the mascot of Pokemon, considering that he was number 20. Pikachu was number 25 on the original 150 or 151 if you count Mew. Like Pikachu was number 25, and yet Pikachu ended up becoming the mascot over the three starters, which is like pretty funny. Diamond and Pearl. Well, yeah, actually, they did Sun and Moon adaptation. They actually finally had Ash win a tournament. I was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity. Move on from Ash. They didn't. They can still include Pikachu, but remove Ash. Yeah, they could. It had to be a whole different Pikachu, I guess. Actually, one thing that's kind of weird is like I remember when I played Sun and Moon, I really liked Lizamune as a villain because she's so evil, like so like pure evil. And then lately, it seems Game Freak has seriously regretted making her so evil, and then they're trying to say, "Oh no, you see, she was really just misunderstood." It's like, come on, just stick with something. Clefairy? Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I don't know why they went with Clefairy, but could have done it in Kalos, but no. Like, yeah, I think he got to the finals in that one, but he lost in the last. He lost in the finals, or at least that's what I hear. good old, good old Ash. Anyway, so did you guys see Spider-Man: No Way Home? I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but oh boy, that I say with Omnicron, like that movie couldn't have picked the worst time in Pokemon after the X and Y anime. Yeah, I mean, I kind of lost. I'm still pissed off that the GS Ball story was correct. Yeah, from what I understand, that was supposed to be the. From what I understand, that was supposed to be the. That was supposed to be Selby, but because they did the movie with Selby, they just hoped people would forget about the GS Ball. But no, people don't forget. Yes, I have. You have. Yes, I know. Yeah, cool. Because I don't want to. Because it's hard to talk about that movie without going into spoilers. I'm amazed how much money it's made despite the pandemic. Yeah, I think it would have made even more money if it wasn't for the pandemic. Because it's like, I mean, look, I'm just gonna get when you have all three live action Spider-Man, that's gonna get butts and seats. Like that's for Spider-Man. That's basically the equivalent to Endgame. But it's like, James Bond, No Time to Die would have probably made $1 billion if not for the pandemic. From what I understand, the United Kingdom basically saved that movie from being a bomb. No doubt this film is the biggest film event since Endgame. Yes, I agree. And you think it's kind of funny that we don't say that about Star Wars Episode 9. Like, people just did not care about Episode 9. People got so fatigued with Star Wars because they just kept making one every year, so people just got tired of it. Why did Super bring back Frieza and make a movie on it for some unnecessary nostalgia? I don't know. With Frieza, it just feels like they just want him around because he's pretty much the Dragon Ball villain. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Frieza because they got to wrap that up because I don't want him just like wandering the galaxy doing his thing. Like they got to they got to kill him off for real. It's just Frieza's just yeah. Because people say domestic growth is what's important, but I always point out that with James Bond, domestic growth is the United Kingdom, not the U.S. Okay. Yeah, that's very true. Because money. Huh. Yeah. We British sure do. Well, yeah, James Bond is a British icon. Created by Ian Fleming. I think that's how you say his last name. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I mean, the next Bond, I imagine they're just going to completely reboot. One Piece. Yeah, at some point next year, I'll do something. Like, I've had a Sanji video in mind, but I haven't done it because I'm still waiting to see. Because I'm waiting to see how Wano translates him. Like, is Wano even done Act 3? I'm not sure. They kind of have to, yeah. I'm suburban. I don't love James Bond. Fair enough. Yes, I did actually. It looks good. Who's doing the animation? I don't know if it's Studio Pro. Yeah, which is like okay, man. I thought Act 3 would have been done by now. Kind of wish he didn't do that whole act structure, but oh, next movie. Next movie I want to see is probably the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. That's the next movie I want to see. Hopefully will be it'd be kind of poetic if like oh, it is Studio Pro. Oh, it's not Studio Pro. We need a Shonen Fighter to Jump Fighter. That's what I've been saying, but they don't do it. Like every time we get a Jump crossover game, we get stuff like Jump Force. It's like, come on, why can't you guys actually just pour money into like a big Shonen Jump crossover? J Stars, the DS game. Too bad that was never released internationally. Hey, dude, Happy New Year's. One Piece film Red is canon. I've heard various things. I've heard it's about Shanks, which is like, okay, fine. I guess you could tell a story with Shanks. Yeah, I guess it was too much to hope for. I wonder if Studio Pro is going to make an entire movie dedicated to how Ichigo fell in love with Orihime. I mean, Yes, I'm not a fan of how it looks. Maybe I'll go see it with friends, but it's like, yeah, look, you had an animation style with the Broly movie that everybody loved, and then you just did this. It's like, come on. Has your opinion on Toei changed? In what way? Positive, negative? I can't believe it's gonna be a manga. So, well, I see that they are really trying to. It seems Sasuke and Sakura's whole relationship is their big moneymaker right now, which is kind of funny. Because they're also trying to fight the fact that it's kind of regarded as a toxic relationship in America, but it's like they're clearly trying to go shit. Studio Mappa, okay. Sasuke, yeah, I've been saying that. And it's like, here's the thing: they're not going to fix Sasuke and Sakura until they actually address how he treated her in Shippuden. But they're not going to do that. Yeah, I can't believe how long Act 3 has been. Well, yes, it did. And they seem to have realized that, but they're like, shit. Well, I think when they had people that were like, really mad at them for Naruto and Sakura not happy, they were like, oh shit, we fucked up, we gotta do something. So I remember they put out that interview like a few months after the manga ended, where they're like, oh, in the end, Sasuke and Sakura will always end up together, but it's like, yeah, no fucking way. I will never believe that. Duh. Can't curse. Now, again, this isn't monetized anyway, so I can say whatever I want. Yeah, YouTube is a practically changing way. Like, what happened to Totally Not Mark could happen to me. Like, about the sales of the novel. Like, what? What are the sales? Good or bad? Because it seems like if anything, they're not focusing on Naruto and Hinata because it's like they're like, oh, because it doesn't sell over in Japan, and they've realized that. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, when this is over, I'm gonna pour myself a bowl of pretzels, and then I'm gonna just watch Spider-Man 2002. That's I have done Sonic in the past. Speaking of which, that new Sonic game next year, I'm not sure what system I want to get it for. I did do a video. They're kind of poorly aged. I mean, I did do videos about the Sonic Adventure games, but it was kind of before I did Naruto. But eh, like everyone was telling me back then, oh, you have amazing potential. It's like, okay. It's like, but I need somebody to help out with I'd like a team, but I can't really afford that right now. Okay, well, which is true then? Yeah, the adventure games. Yeah, they've not aged particularly well, but I still love them because I grew up with them. Bleach anime is really coming back. Yep. Yeah, about time. It took. Man, it's kind of funny that it came back 10 years after originally being canceled. Part of me wonders what would have happened if Naruto anime was canceled before the manga was concluded. But because I'm amazed that all that filler didn't kill Naruto like it killed Bleach. Yeah, that's the thing about Breath of the Wild. Like, that's probably the most impactful game of the generation because every game since that game came out that went in development after is basically trying to be Breath of the Wild. It's like, and now people are now going back to Breath of the Wild and saying, "Oh, this game was never that good." It's like, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I like Adventure 2's story. Yeah, I like Adventure 2 a lot because I mean that was kind of geared like that could have been the last Sonic game ever made because Sega, the Dreamcast was basically on its last legs, and they didn't know if they were going to still be in business. So that was why the ending was so final because they didn't know if they were actually going to get another game. Okay. Well, I think that I do realize that Naruto Sakura was basically their money making ship over in Japan, and I think they realized that cutting them off was a huge mistake. Yeah, Shadow was kind of ruined by his own popularity, though. Like, I think he should have stayed dead after Adventure 2 because his story was finished. But, it's like the reason he just because then they brought him back because I remember when they unveiled his game for the first time, Shadow the Hedgehog. He was like it was like he was using guns. It was like they were like, oh, we didn't think Sonic would do them, so we did it in Shadow. I was like, yeah, I don't even think Shadow would use guns. He would pick one up, just look at it, just go, don't need this. Apparently, the Boruto, yeah, I don't know, because the problem with the Boruto anime is like they're a weekly anime series adapting a manga that comes out monthly, which means lots and lots of filler with very little time dedicated to canon. A Bond franchise, yeah, it has to appeal to its domestic audience, which is the United Kingdom. Naruto didn't really do that. First, I don't know. I kind of don't care about Boruto either way. Okay, whatever that means. Well, yeah, that's what they should have done, but they won't do that because they just don't. Because as soon as they do that, they're worried people will just lose interest in Boruto if not already. Hmm. Ah, but this is fun. This is relaxing. As what comes out next year, my plan is next year I'm going to focus on finishing Zelda, even though I'm recording a Link Between Worlds right now. Sometimes it goes smoothly and sometimes it doesn't, but it's like I find that if I leave the 3DS like laying like it's just on but in standby and then have the 3DS viewer playing it, then playing it later, it's like okay, it'll work. Well, Naruto is not really. I mean, it's not really ninjas anymore. It's basically aliens with ninja. I swear, there's no other franchise that would have possibly got away with that. Like, Naruto's not really a ninja series anymore. It's sci-fi. Well, yeah. The problem was the damage was already done. It will? What volume's it on now? Yeah, sometimes. Well, the thing is, Dragon Ball, like a lot of series from back then, like Dragon Ball, Star Wars, Digimon, they benefited from not having the internet around at the time. Because I wonder how differently they'd be perceived if they were coming out today. 16, 15. Well, Dragon Ball started off as a parody of Journey to the West. Like, that's really what it was. It was just going to be a Journey to the West parody, and then a short little Journey to the West parody that would last maybe like a volume or so. It was just supposed to be 1 or 2 volumes, but then, well, well, that didn't happen for obvious reasons. One Piece, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't put it. Oda might put that in somehow. Yeah, that would not go over well. Look, I mean, like I said, the original plan wasn't for Luke's sister to be Leia. It was originally going to be somebody else. Like the third film was going to end with, I think, Luke walking off into the sunset to continue his Jedi training, and he would eventually meet his sister, who wasn't Leia. Please no. Oh god. Look, as long as Oda doesn't pull Kaguya, he'll be fine. I'm just imagining Madara, or Madara, however you say his name, because I get a lot of shit for how I pronounce names. I don't know. It's like, imagine if like Blackbeard's about to fight Luffy, and then suddenly somebody stabs him in the back, and he gets taken over by an alien. It's like, oh, great, you pulled a Kaguya. Congratulations, Oda. Yeah, that's how it happened. Well, people were more interested in the martial arts stuff than so. At that point, Dragon Ball was a Journey in the West parody in name only. Yeah, a lot of people did not like Madara. Like I remember there was a pretty sizable hate them for Madara. Like there were people who absolutely despised him and wanted him dead. And then it happened, and people were like, "Oh God, we want Madara back." I hope. Probably wrap this up soon. Probably about 6:45, because that'll be about an hour. So yeah, about 20 minutes left. One Piece is pretty consistent. Well, yeah, there was a lot of well, that was the problem. There was a lot of real life reasons for why Lucas stopped Star Wars at Return of the Jedi. I actually just got the making of book for both Empire and Return of the Jedi. Yes, his personal life went down with his wife divorcing him. Yeah. Basically, from what I understand, people said that, yeah, while George was like the technical guy, his wife, Marcia Lucas, was kind of the heart of Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Listening to him rant about Kingdom Hearts 3 was just really entertaining. Sometimes he goes on tangents, and I just like go, whatever, man. I just like tune him out because I'm like, whatever, man. I don't care. but it's just when he goes like that, it's like really good. Like I mean, Kingdom Hearts story is so convoluted that it's like I really don't give a shit anymore. Because it's like then it seems Tatsuya Nomura is basically just doing what his excuse me, he's just doing what his versus 13 would have been like, which is like, ugh. They need to get rid of Nomura because he like I think some call me Johnny summed up Tatsuya Nomura best. Like he does what he thinks is cool, and then he figures out its significance later. Which characters? Kingdom Hearts, Star Wars. I got a character right now. Look at you, huh? Ow! So one of the reasons Lucas decided to stop Return of the Jedi was because he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to maintain the cast for longevity. I mean, doing something like the MCU was not seen as feasible back then, and he was worried that what if one of my actors dies like unexpectedly? That could mess up my plans. And Lucas's fears were more than valid when you consider what happened with Carrie Fisher in the sequel trilogy. Kingdom Hearts, yeah. Sora, Riku, and Kairi are probably better handled versions of Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. I admit that. Yeah, and he finally got his wish in The Force Awakens. Of course, that kind of came at the cost that we didn't get a reunion. Like it's like every other series that's bringing back the old characters to pass the torch to a new team. Like they've seemed to have learned from Star Wars mistakes. Like they are just like they're not killing off the old characters and they're having them actually be together. Well, Ghostbusters killed off Egon, but they kind of had to because Harold Ramis died in 2014, so no way around that. Hi, Hector. I bet they are, yeah. And that's kind of what Square became with Final Fantasy VII. Ironic, really. Like I really like every time every the compilation of Final Fantasy it just felt like every entry they did, it just felt like they did not understand why people liked Final Fantasy VII so much. And I'm gonna be honest, I think Ocarina of Time. I like Ocarina of Time better than Final Fantasy VII. That's a little. I'm a little biased about that, but still. That's very true. Yeah, I mean, separate the art from the artist, which people are heavily debating now with J.K. Rowling and Rowling and Harry Potter, and you know, Yeah, it's like it's tricky because it's like there really is no right answer. The more writing Cloud and Sephiroth fan fiction. That's kind of what Kingdom Hearts is. It's basically fan fiction. I don't think so. Nope. I haven't watched Demon Slayer. Okay, that was a pretty loud motorcycle outside my apartment. What a day. Pretty much done with my current job because, well, they've cut my hours and the pay is shit, so best if I move on. Yeah, not. Alright, let's see. Look. Yeah, I've seen all these people are now wanting Amazing Spider-Man 3, but it's like, look, Amazing Spider-Man 2 still sucks. I will stand by that. I think of all the Spider-Man films, it's easily the worst one. Like Spider-Man 3 has good scenes. I will stand by that. Like that scene where the Sandman is born, it's better than most delete anything from the MCU. I do believe that. I kind of miss the pre-cinematic universe days of comic book movies. They felt more special back then. Well, yeah, okay. Inuyasha. I heard, yeah, Inuyasha's getting a sequel. Or actually, I think it's out already, isn't it? Yeah. I think that's deliberate. J.K. Rowling is trying to she's obviously not happy about the fact that they're trying to distance themselves from her. But it's like, look, for me personally, I was finished with Harry Potter after the last movie came out, so it's like, yeah, I'm not very interested. I still like Harry, Ron, Hermione. J.K. Rowling is, well, she's very hateful. It's sad, but I mean, it's just like, man, what happened to you? Pre Disney Marvel was cool. Yeah, I remember when Disney bought Marvel. Like, people were like, what? Like, the reaction, people were laughing about that. Yeah. Yeah, I heard that people were saying, oh, the Raimi films really suck. But then after the Amazing films came out and people started hating them, people looked back on the Raimi films and said, okay, what they did well, they did really well. With COVID, it's like isolation. It's not helping people with immense loneliness. Well, people always did. Spider-Man 3, I still remember when that movie came out. Like, that was hotly debated of if that movie was good or not. Like, it was probably the big fight at the time. This was before social media, but they did. I mean, it pretty much was their future. Spider-Man 3, look, I think if you want to fix Spider-Man 3, like, just have Harry as the main villain. Don't have Venom, because it's obvious Sam Raimi did not want to do Venom. He didn't grow up with Venom. He grew up with classic Spider-Man. Well, Spider-Man 3 does have good scenes. Like I said, the scene where the Sandman is born, like, that's better than most of the MCU. It's a better scene than most of the MCU. Like, it's just a terrific scene. One of the best I've ever seen in any movie. Yeah, people have warmed up to it. Basically, they've realized, okay, there are good things in that movie. I mean, the bad stuff is still bad, but like of the trilogy, it's definitely the least best. Not to mention, Sam Raimi. I mean, they were originally going to make Spider-Man 4, but that didn't happen because Sony kind of screwed them over. Yeah, well, the prequels. What's going on with the prequels is that a lot of kids, people who were kids when the prequels are coming out, are now defending them, and maybe that'll happen, and that might happen with the sequel trilogy in like 20 years. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. The problem with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was they basically put MCU paint over it when they really didn't need to because Marvel vs. Capcom was already popular. It didn't need to be MCU related. And also the fact that they didn't have any X-Men characters was a big flat red flag because it was like, no, those characters are so essential to the series. Sam Raimi trilogy, my favorite Spider-Man 2. That is such a well thought out movie. Like I think the train fight scene between Spider-Man and Doc Ock is better than most of the fights in the MCU. Yeah, the prequels are just like, look, like the prequels are just. I really wish George Lucas didn't write or direct the prequels. I wish he just let people who were better suited for that do them. Well, oh yeah, the X-Men in the '90s, they were huge. They were like, and they will be huge again when Marvel makes a movie about them. Oh yeah, I think I remember when Ray said, "Oh, I'm Ray Skywalker." I remember the whole theater groaned, like people just were like, "Ugh." And then I remember when Ray and Ben started making out, and there was dead silence in the theater. Far From Home, yeah, not a good movie. Like it, aside from the moment where Mysterio basically tricks him into seeing illusions. Other than that, that movie kind of sucks. I stand by that. Like Peter's relationship with MJ, Michelle Jones, is incredibly rushed. It's like they really did, like they had good chemistry, Tom Holland and Zendaya, but they did not even try with that relationship. It's like well about the subject. Raylo, the S is yeah, it is. At least, but it's like while I'm on the subject with Michelle Jones, the character's weird because it's like they couldn't seem to decide if they wanted her to be Mary Jane or if they wanted her to be an original character, and it's like it seems they couldn't make up their mind. All right. Oh yeah, I think they were going to make one about Topher Grace's Venom, and then they didn't. So they just said, "Fuck it, we'll just do it ourselves." Oh, I remember they were going to make a Silver Surfer spinoff that would have actually had Galactus, but that didn't pan out. The Spider-Man 4 came out. I wonder how different the landscape would have been. Raylo isn't quite that bad. Nah, maybe not. Raylo, yeah, well, yeah. Raylo is just, yeah. The part where they start kissing is like, it's like, you just get the sense that they're like just a few seconds away from taking their clothes off until Ben dies. One thing that didn't make sense to me is like he gives her some of his like forced dyad thing to save her life, but it's like, okay, why doesn't she do the same for him? Yeah, that's the biggest disappointment. It's like no, the movie, none of the movies, the Raimis or the MCU have quite gotten MJ right. Like I said, like I don't know why they did what I've heard. One of the reasons why his supporting cast was so different than how it usually is was because of rights issues, which has been resolved. So like I wish they had just not done MJ yet. Like they had like built up to her. Like maybe they had just I just it's just kind of sucks that it seems we're never gonna get that scene where Mary Jane goes, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot in live action." It's like, come on. Yeah, Galactus. Yeah, I think they're setting him up. Like, Eternals was so messy. Like the Celestials, it's like I don't even know what they're gonna do considering that movie was not well received, and I don't even think it was a big box office hit. Like Spider-Man was easily the best film they had this year, and that was because of the multiverse thing. Like Black Widow was pretty mediocre. Shang-Chi was decent, even if the third act was kind of weak. Eternals was just a mess. And Todd McFarlane was good. All right, I'm going to wrap this up soon. Got any last questions? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Michelle Jones. It's like, no, that was the weird thing. It's like, okay, they gave her the Watson, so it's like, okay, so she is Mary Jane? But then when they had Norman meet them, she says MJ, she says he's like Mary Jane. She's like, no, Michelle Jones. Okay, so she's not Mary Jane? It's like, it's weird. I have no idea. I have no idea how well that's going to do. I mean, like I said, I think the only thing Kishi expressed interest in doing was a backstory about Minato, but they kind of can't do that because, Kushida is so tied to Sakura as a character, they'd just be opening up debates about why Naruto and Sakura didn't happen, so it's best to ignore it. So they're like, ah, shit. They really did not think that through. I'd be up for it. I mean, I've heard what their Sony's plans were for Amazing Spider-Man 3, and it was pretty funny. I think he was going to bring people back to life with his blood. If anything, I heard there was a scene cut where Toby Peter would go back to his world, and we'd see that he was married to Mary Jane, and they had a daughter. And I was like, man, that makes me want a Spider-Girl movie with their kid. It was. Sarada was somehow the only good thing about that ship. Well, that's probably what they're going to do. They just don't want to admit Boruto was a mistake yet. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I'll be back later. Skyward Sword is progressing, and it'll be out. I'm going to focus on finishing Zelda, and because hopefully Breath of the Wild 2 will come out next year, so I'll be able to be on time with that. All right, guys. I'll see you later.